Black History Month video series featuring Black educators in the Bootheel. My name is Mary Ann Wright, and I'm a 4-H area educator and assistant to the regional coordinator for Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. This program is led by some of the teams that participate in our Lincoln programs. Today's interview is being led by Mr. Dankqwon Spates.
Hello, I'm Dankqwon Spates, and I am a junior at Caruthersville High School. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Joe Cagle. Tell us a little about yourself and your position.
First, I'd like to thank you for having me. I'm a retired educator now. I've been retired for 35 years. I taught at schools, all three schools, as a matter of fact, coached basketball, football, and track. And I also spent 35 years in the service before I came back into education here at Caruthersville.
Do you have an additional role other than in the classroom?
Well, since I'm retired, I don't have any classroom roles, but I do have some programs that I still work with the youth. We have a young program where we have Boys to Men, where we mentor elementary and junior high students. And I'm also involved in now what we call a Southeast Missouri Transportation Service, where I help provide transportation for the elderly to doctor's appointments and just everyday chores when they don't have transportation to get there.
That's good. What fueled your desire to be an educator?
Well, I can go back to probably my junior high days, and I had some teachers who were very, very compelling, and they kind of got me headed in the educational field. That's something I always aspired to do.
When did you know you wanted to pursue education?
As soon as I got out of the service. Matter of fact, I had a game plan. My game plan first was to see the world, and after I saw the world, I was going to come back and actually get into coaching and teaching and hopefully be able to do some of the things and provide some of the things to youth that was provided to me when I was growing up here.
Is there a mentor who you would identify as someone who encouraged you to pursue education?
Oh, no doubt. My fourth grade teacher, her name was Miss Day, and she had a way of actually just getting things across to us so that we can understand them, not just understand them and apply them. And I used a lot of her techniques when I became a teacher as well.
Who are your biggest influences?
Oh, I have so many. Dr. King, Al Sharpton, Manny Teal, people who've gone before us and done so many things. See, I'm from the old school. I was growing up in the 50s, so I've seen a lot of things a lot different than what today's youth have seen, and experienced a lot of things which still has an impact on my life.
Did you have any black teachers when you were in school?
Oh yeah, we were actually, before we integrated, we went to school here in Washington before we integrated to Caruthersville High School. So I got a chance to see both what it was before we integrated and after we integrated.
How did that make you feel?
There wasn't a big transition as far as, because most of the kids, especially students, athletes, we all got along together. So there wasn't any turmoil or any major disruptions. I think it was a very smooth transition.
What are steps you took early in your life that helped you today?
Oh man, today is just my military career and my athletic career where I learned and put so much emphasis on the core values, which is honor, courage, commitment, those things which are just important for success at any level.
Were you involved in school and community groups?
Oh, athletics, yeah, basketball, football, track, future athletes, Boy Scouts, you name it. There's many things that we could get involved in, because doing something was major during the time when I was growing up in school.
Did you like school growing up?
Loved it. Every day it was fun.
What did your path to being an educator look like?
Well, for me, I went to school at Southeast Missouri State on a basketball scholarship. Like I said, my goal in life was to see the world. As soon as I graduated from school, I went to the Navy, where I spent that time, and then I ended up retiring for 35 years. And so that was my basis for education, and from there, all of the things that I transitioned from the Navy just fit right in education.
What are some of the biggest obstacles you faced in becoming an educator?
I don't believe in obstacles. There weren't any that I could say that just would deter me in any way, because obstacles are something that we pretty much put on ourselves. If there isn't one, if there are any, I think we can always be able to find something good even in the obstacles or the bad things.
Do you feel there are benefits in having a diverse school staff?
I do, because I think today, even more than ever, I think young people need to have someone they could be able to relate to. You know, not just relate, but have a relationship with. And I think that has a major bearing in education, as far as you learning from me and me learning from you. But that comes from trust and just having a personal relationship.
How did you use social justice principles in your teaching when you did teach?
Well, like I said, my background was military, and a lot of things that I did incorporated our military values into my teaching, which I say is honor, courage, and commitment, which applies to everything that in life.
What advice would you give to those, especially African American youth, who wants to pursue education as a career?
Oh man, go for it. Because well, right now, with the teaching profession and the shortages that we have, I know we need not just teachers, but we need African American teachers as well. Just for that interaction, and for our kids to see that there's someone like them in the classroom. And especially if they actually walk the same streets as you walk. I went through the same thing, went through the same class as you, so that experience goes a long ways, and I think it helps in us being able to relate to each other.
What advice would you give me on becoming a senior next year and on my future path?
I would say, get an idea or think about something that you really enjoy doing. If you think of something that you really enjoy doing, there's all types of paths to get there. But then again, then find someone who is trained and skilled. That's what they taught us in the military. I had a particular job, but if my job encounters someone else, I'm gonna go to them and get their advice because they're the expert on it. So find an expert, a person who's worked in that field, and get them to mentor you, and that way you'll find out not the best way to get there, but the most effective way to get there, because you've already been tutored. And that's something we don't do enough of either.
Yeah, it's always good to hear, especially with somebody that did the same thing you're trying to do.
Exactly. We used to have a program here, we did Aviation 1, where we took students from Caruthersville, Hayti, and we had them, and the ultimate goal was to have them, flew a leg of the plane from here to Paducah, from the Cape and back to Caruthersville. But in the classroom, we had simulators set up in the classroom. The curriculum was all math and science. And they actually had jobs that they worked on during one day of the week on Friday, and we did it with businesses in the community. If they didn't go to the job, then they got docked. If they were late coming to work, they got docked. So they kind of got an idea of what it really is in the real world to be responsible. And responsibility is the main thing. Yeah. And like I tell my guys, if practice is at 3 o'clock and you're there at 3 o'clock, you're late. So being punctual, being on time, going to work with a smile and attitude, yes sir, no sir, those things put you in a whole different demeanor and different section than most, because most guys say, yeah, no, See, and there's nothing demeaning about that, but it doesn't show respect. Respect is something that once you gain it, man, it gives you the credibility to do a number of other things. And it's all about taking a step, up the ladder. Once you learn those things, and when you start practicing and they see them in you, I mean, if I'm gonna get this guy, you're my man, I'm gonna take you. And that's how the society is going now, because nobody wants to set themselves apart and do the right things and do the things that it takes to go that extra mile, so to speak. It's important. I mean, if you go that extra mile, you'll get rewarded. But it takes work, it takes knowledge, and it just takes a know-how. And if you go to the right person, they'll actually give you the tools that you need in order to make that next step. Because every step takes some tools, You don't go ask the electrician to come and fix your water heater, and you're gonna get a plumber. You're gonna get the person with the right. So when you decide what you want to do, find that person, because they're out there. And if you can't find them, we'll find them for you. That'll be able to mentor you and get you ready for that next step.
Yeah, Coach Lamont Bell, he tried to push us to a limit so we can get from where we're at now and to a rise.
And everything is a sacrifice. Believe me. You make those sacrifices now, and they'll pay off for you later. But it's gonna take hard work. It takes work.
Are there specific things you do to be a role model for African American youth?
Our Boys to Men program is probably number one, because everything starts from a foundation, and I think that's a solid foundation when we take our youth, especially our young youth, and let them know the principles and things. It's just like a basketball game. You have rules, and if you know the rules and you play by the rules, you can be successful. But there's no way you can be successful if you don't follow the rules.
Yeah. What else would you like to share with us today? Okay.
It's just that I think that there's a lot of things that we can do together as a community in order to enrich our community. I don't think we have enough involvement. You know, we say there's a problem with things with our youth. We talk about our youth saying that we don't know what the future is going to be like. But if I say there's a problem and I'm not doing anything to add or to help, then I'm part of the problem. So getting involved and getting people involved, especially our parents, and involved in things would better our community and give us a foundation, because we don't have that. I keep going back to foundation. We don't have that foundation. When we get that foundation, that structure, and we get it to a point where it's solid, then we can build anything on it.
Thank you today for having this conversation with me and influencing me on a lot of things in life. It was a blessing to have this conversation.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. This is one of the 8-part series featuring Black educators in the Bootheel. Be sure to visit the Hillsdale County 4-H Facebook page and the Bootheel 4-H YouTube channel for additional videos and more.